there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path located in Forest City, North Carolina. For today's video, I'm going to teach you an original design that I called the Loop-de-Loop earrings. Now for these earrings, you're going to need two 18 by 25 oval links. They look just like this. I'm going to be using the Beadalon brand, but you can use any kind that you can find that's that 18 by 25. We do have these available in store and in our Etsy store if you can't find them elsewhere. If you buy one of our kits, they'll come into the kit. You're going to need 66 size 11 seed beads, about 4 grams of a size 15 seed bead, as well as a size 10 or 12 needle, whichever you prefer, and a pair of ear hooks, and some fire line. I'm going to use 6-pound fire line. I'm going to use about 1 yard to 1.5 yards for each earring. So go ahead and get your materials together and we'll get started. So I have my needle threaded, and the first thing I'm going to do is take my needle and I'm going to stick it through the center of my component. I'm going to bring my thread down, leave myself just a short tail here, and I'm going to tie the thread actually onto my component. Okay, I'm going to put this little tail down here to the center so that way I get it out of my way. And I'm going to be using just my size 11 seed beads to start out with. I'm going to pick up 2 11s, let those drop all the way to the base. I'm going to stick my needle through the loop, and then I'm going to grab this second bead that I put on, and I'm going to go right up through it and pull so that when I do, those 2 beads now sit side by side on the ring. I'm going to pick up 1 11, let it fall, stick my needle through the ring, then I'm going to grab a hold of this little bead I just added, and I'm going to go right up through it, pull so that it'll go next to your other beads. 1 11, let it drop all the way down, take your needle, go through the ring, and then grab a hold of the bead that you just added and go right up through it and pull. I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to pick up 1 11, let it drop all the way down, go through the ring, and then go through the bead you just added. You're going to continue until you have added 33 size 11 seed beads. You want 33. Once you have your 33 beads, this is what it should look like. I'm going to take and kind of just push my beads together so there's not that big of a hole here. And I'm going to take and go down through the first bead that I added, up through the last bead that I added. So that way it connects that first and last bead and finishes out the loop around. Now I want to come out of the bead that is closest to the very center, which if I put it just like this, the very center is here and it's kind of in a space. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of move my beads around a little bit so that I have a bead now directly in the center, which is this one here. And I'm going to stitch through to exit out of that bead. So the way that I've stitched, I'm going to go through my ring and then back up through that same bead so that the thread will loop around and I can be exiting out of the bottom of that bead. So now I'm exiting out of a center bead here along the bottom, and I'm ready to start adding my loops. Now for now I'm done with my 11s, and I'm going to be using nothing but my 15s. You don't use any 11s besides that. For this first loop here in the center, we're going to pick up 25 15s. And once I have my 25, I'm going to come up through the same bead I was just exiting to make my circle, or my little loop. So that there is my loop. Now you're going to be working to one side. It doesn't matter which side you go to, but whichever side you start with is the way you've got to continue. So I'm just going to work to my right here. So I'm going to come down through the very next bead on my ring. And you're going to be counting in odd numbers. So this first loop was 25. The next loop is going to be 23. Once you have your 23, go up through the very same bead and then down through the next bead. Just like that. And we're going to repeat adding loops, and I'm going to try and show you a picture here of how you're going to do the loops here in just a second, but I'm going to walk you through it or talk you through it so that you'll know. So we started out with 25, we did 23, 21, 19, 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, and then 2 here are going to be 3. So you want to keep adding your loop, or sorry, 2 are going to be 5, and then you're going to do a 3. So you're going to keep adding your loops until you get to that point. So I'm going to show you here on my computer. This bottom that we started with was 25, then 23, and as you can see, each number is an odd number and works its way down. So when you get up here to 5, you're going to add 2 loops of 5, then you'll add 1 loop of 3. So again, this is how you're going to do your loops that we started at the bottom. You'll do that one side just as we just talked about. So once you've gone all the way up, I've added my last set of 3, and I'm coming out of the 11 right next to the last set of 3. I'm going to pick up 3 15s. I'm going to come down through the next 11. Not the same one, but the next 11. Go up through the next 11. Pick up 3 15s. go down through the next 11. So for these few here on the top, we're not going through the same, we're going through the next 11. So go up through. Pick up 3 15s. Down through the next 11. And then one more time. Pick up 3 and go down through the next 11. So that when you do, here along the top, you have 4 sets of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we need to add our hook or our loop for the top. So to do that, I'm going to stitch back through to exit out of this bead right here. This is the one I want to be exiting when I get ready. So I'm going to just come stitch back up and down through my 11s to get where I need to be. Be sure not to go up through any of these little 15s. You just want to deal with the 11s. So that when I get back up to this one that I need to go through, I'm going to go up through 2 of the 15s that I had added of that first set of 3 there. So that is what it should look like at this point. I'm going to pick up 5 15s. And I'm going to come across and come through the top bead of that next little pea coat. So I'm skipping and just going through the top bead here so that when I go through it and pull, it's going to make a tiny loop here at the top. This is where my ear hanger, or the ear hanger, bless me Lord Jesus, this is where the earring hook is going to go, in that little hole. So now I'm just going to work my way back down. Zigzagging up and down. And I'm going to come out of my next 11. So that when you do it, this is what it's going to look like right here. So now, I'm going to start my regular loops again. Just like I did on this side, I'm going to start and do the loops here to this side. So I'll start out with 3. 3 here. And then 2 5s. 7, 9, etc., until you get back down to where you started. And then we're going to tie the thread off with a couple of half-hitch knots. Once you have finished your loop and tied off your thread, this is what your earring should look like. And all you have to do is make a second one and add your ear hook, and you'll have your complete pair. I also made a sample of a red, white, and blue pair. I used a blue for the 11s and a silver line clear and a silver line red for my 15s. This one right here is my favorite pair. This is the gunmetal. I used gunmetal for the 15s and the 11s. And then I also made a cream color pair, what I call buttercream. So all 3 of these are samples that we'll have kits for. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make the loop-de-loop earrings. If you would like to purchase a pattern, you can check out our Etsy shop, or check out our website, offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. If you want to purchase a kit for these, they can be purchased on our Etsy site also. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Come back next week for another great project. Bye-bye.